Hey guys, making a video today, kind of not planned, but sitting here with Ice Berg and out at his place. Figured we'd hang out today on a rainy day and doing a little bit of wrenching and just hanging out on his stuff. But I was getting some messages about building diffs, which I've gotten in the past, and I haven't made any videos on it. But I figured while we're here and me and Chuck were talking that I would go ahead and do one. And at the same time, Chuck's got a lot of work to do, so I'll build a diff for him while we're at it. So this video might be kind of long because I'm not going to edit it and do all that stuff because I really don't know how the hell to do all that stuff. So I'm just going to, you might want to fast forward, skip, whatever, if you want to get to anything that you might want to know about the diff. So I'm going to build a center diff for Chuck's nitro car. And first thing I'm going to do is get the outdrives ready. Now, you don't want to go too light on the grease with these. You're better off to have a lot, and obviously it'll fling off or find its way out. But you're better off to have too much than a little. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get Chuck's X-Acto knife here all greasy, and I'm going to lay it in that valley right there, and I'm just going to gob it in there right now. It ain't gonna be perfectly smooth, just kind of gobbing it over top of that. And then once I go all the way around, I actually, when I'm at home, I actually use a popsicle stick for this, but like I said, I'm gonna get Chuck's knife dirty. So then I lay this on the side and I'm gonna spin it, and you'll see what I end up with. You can see the black stripe. It's a full and it's flush. The rest on here, I'm just going to go ahead and spread all over the rest of the outdrive shaft. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's pouring rain outside, and I didn't even do a test video. This was kind of on the fly. So there's that. You can see it's gooped. It looks messy, but we're not going to worry about that. We learned what was it, last summer? Remember when your cars, when we couldn't figure out what in the hell was going on? And Adam was with us too, and we were all kind of scratching our heads, but luckily Adam had an idea, and there was just one of the outdrives had went pretty dry, and I tried driving Chuck's car. He was driving. Adam actually drove pretty good, but knew there was something wrong, and it was like the car was broke. So took it apart, and the shaft was discolored and dry. So, like I said,
it basically seized up.
It did, yeah, okay, like a solid mass. So, and honestly, lucky Adam was there because I don't think any of us would have narrowed it down as quickly as he did. Chuck repaired it, and good to go. So I'm going to put these in. Got the bearings already on there. I'm going to put these in. Just kind of rotate it. Don't just mash it on there. Just kind of rotate it. Work it around a little bit. And then it's in. Same thing on the spur side. So those are ready. Next I'm going to put the O-rings. I just cut a corner of a parts bag. So this is some O-ring grease. I'm going to put it in here. Squeeze some in there. Move it around with your thumb. I'm going to drop the 2 O-rings in there. And they're just going to get saturated with the O-ring grease. You don't have to soak them. Matter of fact, I wouldn't soak them. I would just do this. And then bring them out on your paper towel. Now here's something a little bit different I do. I probably do a few things different, but this is something I do that I'm sure not a lot of people do. I'm going to take the paper gasket and the corner of this baggie that I've got all gooped up with the O-ring grease. I'm going to put this in there, and I'm just going to spin it, and I'm actually getting this gasket greased up. Not like sloppy greased up, but just so it's shiny. Okay, both sides in that bag. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drop that into the spur gear. That O-ring grease will help it stick, but more importantly, I'm not going to claim it for a fact. I mean, I could be an idiot, but I'm sure that it helps to stop leaks. I've never had an issue, and as I didn't really have an issue before, but it's just something I do that made building it easier. The gaskets actually last. Can you help me out, Chuck? I'm a little resentful. It came out. And the gasket actually, when you rebuild your diff, it's easy to remove if you want to remove it. And it's also more likely that you'll be able to reuse it. I reuse mine a lot since doing that, and I've never had an issue. Thank you. So, outdrives are through. This gasket's a little warped, but it is staying in place. And make sure it's centered up on them holes. Okay, then we're going to take the O-rings that we had all greased up. And like a little flat tip or something that's not sharp, so I can push the O-ring down with. Yep, that'll work. Get the O-ring seated down in there. Cross pin. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot our... You got a needle nose, Chuck? Sorry. Shim first, then the cross pin. Now, after I have it like this, making sure that pin is centered, just to make sure that O-ring is seated and not stretched or pulled off to one side, I'll go ahead and put the gear on here, and I'll push down and just spin it, just by hand, just to make sure it's seated. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing in here. The O-rings, after they're oiled up like that or greased up, they'll stick to your finger. It's easier to get on there. Push them down with something that's not sharp. Well, I keep forgetting this, uh-oh. Don't tell me I lost one.
What's that?
One of the shims that goes behind the, it's not 200. What did I do with it? Shim for the outdrive. Hang on, guys, we're having technical difficulties. What the hell did I do with this? Oh, here it is. Pro tip, if you drop something on the floor, make sure you clean it off, even though Chuck's floors are super clean. So we got the O-ring. We're going to put our shim on there and the cross pin. I know there's a lot of time gaps in here, guys, and this might be kind of boring, and some of you might not even be watching anymore, but that's all right. You could fast forward too if there's just stuff that you want to get to. Or watch a different video. Figure out whose cocaine was it in the White House, maybe. There's a lot of YouTube videos on that. Who do you think? Oh, we better not talk politics, right?
I don't know. Can you say that?
I don't know. I don't know what we can do.
Can you say any of that?
Never mind. Let's get back to diffs. Not cocaine. Same thing, guys. I'm going to pop the gear in there, push down, and I'm just pushing downward. That gear covers up all the space, so make sure that ring's even. Gears back out. Okay, now this is a little, again, maybe a little bit different. Some guys probably do it like this, but I'm going to kind of build this in layers. You can see it's empty right now other than the cross pin and the shim. So I'm going to put, Chuck wanted 6,000 in this one, so we're going to put some diff fluid in. If I had to gauge it, I'd say about 2 millimeters deep. Then I'm going to drop the gear in. Push down with your finger, spin, make sure it seats with your cross pin. You'll definitely know when it does. It drops in there. Okay? So now I'm going to add a little more diff fluid. Okay, now I'm going to put one of my cross pins in. Are these the ones you want, or do you want aluminum?
Those will be good now.
Good? Okay. I'm putting these in close together, or at least, about like this. I'm going to drop it in there. Then when they drop in, I'm going to spread them apart so I know I got diff fluid on the back side. I'm also adding these shims on the back side of these gears. Don't forget that. But what I'm doing is putting them in and then opening them up. And then obviously you want that flat facing upward for the next one. Same thing, both gears, both shims. Push them both to the center. And then spread them out once it's in there. You can kind of give the outdrive a little twist if you have to help them seat. So right now I'm pushing the diff towards the table, and I can see the diff action because I'm turning the cup. Make sure everything's seated. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little more diff fluid. You can see I'm kind of building it in stages. And what this does is, at least in my opinion, is you have less air to work out when you're all said and done. Instead of dropping everything in and then just, it's going to take forever. There's going to be a lot more air in there. This way, there's going to be less air. So a little more. And then I'm going to drop this gear in. And you don't want to have this full. You want to have this just at about level with your smaller diff gears, the ones on the cross pins. Just about level with those, because obviously this is going to take up a lot of space when you drop it in. Push that with my finger, just give it a little wiggle, make sure it's seated. Now I can already tell that I need a little bit more diff fluid because this is pretty empty and all the edges are empty. Now obviously when you put the top on with the other outdrive it's gonna displace all this fluid, but there's really not enough in there. I could tell right now I'm gonna need a little more. So I'm basically just gonna lay a thin bead around the outside so then it'll settle around these edges. Now you'll see here in a few minutes though that I will end up taking some of this out before I put the spur gear on. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. This might be my longest video ever. It's 13 minutes. 13-minute video. I don't think I should film us letting this diff.
No.
You guys want to watch air escape from a diff? All right, I'm gonna pause this, guys, and we'll be back. While the air comes out. Huh? No.
Okay.
Going outside? In the rain?
I don't want to interrupt.
Huh?
I don't want to interrupt.
Oh no, we're good. All right, guys, looks like this is pretty clean. When this looks, you can tell by looking at it, it's like clear as water. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to squeegee. You're going to want a towel handy. I'm going to squeegee my finger across the top, pushing downward and towards me. And you'll be surprised at how much you get off. It looks level, but when you put that pressure on it, you can do it, 2-3 times. And then I'm just going to clean the outside with my finger. Now, for inside the center gear, I'm going to actually clean that diff fluid out. A Q-tip, paper towel rolled up, any of it works because that way there's no fluid to displace. Obviously make sure your pin's lined up. Same way, then go on top. So I'm going to drop this on, making sure the holes are lined up before I push it down. I can't see nothing. There we go. All right, so now we're locked in. Screw gun with a 2, please.
Not this one.
The heart?
The hearts?
Epson. This is for you. What do you... No, this will work. Man, I don't know, maybe. It's like kind of doppy.
Here. It was worth a try.
There we go. That's what I'm used to. Now, when you guys do this, I wouldn't suggest having whatever tool you're using, like at full RPM where it's getting the plastic hot, because you'll end up ruining your diff cup. I'm not familiar with this one, but it sounds like it's not cranked up.
The battery's dying.
Or the battery's dying, which in this case is good. The Makita I normally use has 2 speeds, and I have it on slow. So anything slow, or if you do it by hand, obviously, you're good. Unless you got really fast hands. I'm not tightening these down all the way. I'm just getting them close.
There's a wrench.
What's that?
There's a wrench there.
Okay, thank you. I'll do them by hand. And we're almost done. I know this is the longest video I ever made, but like I said, kind of off-site, last minute. So now what I'm going to do, let me snug these up by hand, and then I'll show you guys before I pull it up off. Because the whole time I've been pushing downward. Hopefully I'm not tearing up Chuck's yoga mat here. The whole time I've been pushing downward, holding the spur, just keeping that seal. So I'm not going crazy on these. I'm just snugging them up for now. Okay, now when I go back to them, then I'm going to tighten them up. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten top, bottom, left, right. Then I'll start over. Top, bottom, left, right. That's usually about all you need. But top, bottom, left, right. Keep going around in that pattern. Don't go just in a circle. You want to go top, bottom, left, right, and then keep doing that till it's where you feel it's tight enough. And you can go ahead and make these pretty tight. So top, bottom, left, right. And then I'm going to go again. Top, feels good. Bottom, good. Left, and right. And that's it, guys. Diff feels good. Sometimes if you did it like we show where you squeegee with your finger, you get the fluid out the center of the gear before you put the spur on, there'll really be nothing to clean up, which there's nothing here to clean up. You'll see a little bit of extra grease right here where I said don't be shy with the grease on the outdrive. I mean, if you want to, you can use a fine brush or even the edge of a paper towel just to get that out of there. I'll keep it clean for Chuck, so I'll roll that out of there. And yeah, that's it. Go ahead and mark it how you want it so you know what's in there. And there's your diff. All right. So it looks like Chuck stepped outside, but I'm sure we got a lot more to build, a lot more we're gonna do. Maybe something else will come up, make another video later. I know it's been quiet lately. It's been busy lately and not much to talk about. So hopefully that helps you guys. And that's just how I do it. You know, I'm no pro, but that works for me. So hopefully it helped you guys out in one way or another. And hopefully you'll see you guys again soon with something else to talk about. All right, see ya.